Mirror, mirror on the wall, what is the most pointless movie sequel of them all? Hey everyone, welcome to another review, and here's my review for the movie The Huntsman, Winter's War. Yes, this movie stars Chris Hemsworth, Charlize Theron, Jessica Chastain, Emily Blunt, Nick Frost, and it's narrated by Liam Neeson. And yes, this is the sequel to 2012's Snow White and the Huntsman. Yes, remember that very generic fantasy action movie that came out in 2012? It's like a live remake of Snow White, but with the Huntsman story as well. Do you remember that movie? Good, because not a lot of people do remember that movie. That was a very forgettable and very generic movie that came out in 2012, and of course they had to make a sequel to it, because that movie for some reason made some money in the box office, so they thought this movie would make money in the box office, so now we got The Huntsman, Winter's War. Yes, the movie starts off as a prequel. Yeah, it's the backstory of Charlize Theron's character, the Evil Queen, and the Huntsman's character, and the villain of the story, the Ice Queen, played by Emily Blunt. And then after 25 minutes into the movie, it gets into the sequel of Snow White and the Huntsman, and that's The Huntsman, Winter's War. The story of this movie is basically Chris Hemsworth in this movie, once again, plays the Huntsman. Basically, he's on a mission. He's on a mission to stop the Ice Queen, who is Charlize Theron's sister, played by Emily Blunt. Basically, he has to stop her, and he has the help of two dwarfs and his beloved wife, played by Jessica Chastain. And he doesn't know whether or not to trust Jessica Chastain. He doesn't know if she's still loyal to the Queen or is she loyal to him and stuff. And basically, this is like a big action-adventure fantasy film with some romance and some action and some mythological creatures and the power between good and evil and all that shit. And honestly, did we really need a goddamn sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman? The answer to that is, of course not. This is such a pointless movie. This entire movie, I was watching it, I'm like, this is so pointless. Like, why did we need a sequel to this movie? We already know the story of Snow White, and we apparently know the story of Snow White and the Huntsman. Why do we care what happens to the Huntsman? Why do we give a shit about these characters? We didn't give a shit about them in the first movie, so what the fuck are we gonna give a shit about them in this movie? Ugh. The only thing I liked about Snow White and the Huntsman, I didn't really like that movie, but what I did like about it was Charlize Theron's performance. Like, she was really good in the movie, and I liked its visuals. There's some pretty good visuals in that movie. Charlize Theron's performance was good, and the visuals were good. So what about this movie? Well, Charlize Theron's performance was good, and the visuals were good. So yeah, this movie's basically the same thing. Like, I didn't hate this movie more than Snow White and the Huntsman, but I didn't like it more than Snow White and the Huntsman. I pretty much thought it was almost the same as Snow White and the Huntsman. It doesn't have the same story, and it has different characters and different plot points, but oh no, I felt the same with this movie that I did with Snow White and the Huntsman. It's just a forgettable, pointless film. Like, this movie didn't even need to be made. So yeah, that's what I thought about it. But yeah, let's get into the positives and the negatives. There's a lot more negatives, but the positives, this movie has a big cast. Like, there's a lot of big stars in this movie, and most of them are okay. Like, Charlize Theron is great in this movie. Like she is in Snow White and the Huntsman. She's very good in this movie. Oh, but the downside to that is, like, she's not in it very much. She's like in a couple scenes, that's it. And those couple scenes are really good scenes. She's really good. She's a very good actress, and she's really good in this movie. And Chris Hemsworth, he's back as the Huntsman, and he's okay. He's alright. Jessica Chastain's in this movie. She has a god-awful accent in this movie. Like, she cannot do the accent really well. She's okay. Like, her and Chris Hemsworth are supposed to have this romance with each other, and it's god-awful. The chemistry between the both of them is just terrible. There's also another side romance between these two dwarfs. One of them's played by Nick Frost. I love you, Nick Frost, but stop playing dwarfs in these movies. But yeah, the dwarf love story was, it was just unbearably awful. It was just terrible. And Emily Blunt's in this movie. She's the Ice Queen, and she was there. She was there doing stuff, and she was pretty generic, and it wasn't god-awful, her performance, but it wasn't anything that great either. And yeah, you got Liam Neeson narrating the movie, and he's got a great voice, so that was awesome. I love hearing Liam Neeson's voice when he's not in a Taken movie, so yeah, it was cool hearing his narrations and stuff, and the visuals were really cool in this movie. It looked really nice. It looked really pretty and stuff. I love the world. The set pieces looked really nice. Some of the special effects were really cool, so the world and the visuals in this movie were really good. So yeah, Charlize Theron was great. The visuals were good. Some performances were okay, but that's about it. Like, I appreciate this movie tries to give some character development for these characters, But too bad, these characters are very uninteresting. Yeah, it's very half-assed and lazy character development, and it's very uninteresting. Like, they just rush into a lot of things. This movie is very rushed. It's a 2-hour movie, but it's fucking rushed for some reason. That's due to really bad direction and really bad writing. And that is the main problem with this movie. It is horribly directed and horribly written. Like, these are just good actors, so they're really trying with this really generic screenplay. They're really trying to make this movie good, but it's not good. It's not a good movie. It's a really visually appealing movie with maybe one or two good performances, but all in all, it's not a good movie. And it's a very pointless movie. Everything that was going on in this movie, I'm like, why do I give a shit? This movie fails really hard at making me actually give a shit about these characters. I didn't give a shit about any of these characters. I didn't like any of these characters. So that the fact that they were likable or unlikable, some of these characters were really likable, but they just weren't interesting. I didn't give a shit about them. And I didn't give a shit about the story. I didn't give a shit what was happening. All I gave a shit about is when this movie was over. And when it was over, I'm like, well, I won't remember this movie in a few years unless they make another fucking sequel. And at the end of this movie, they kind of tease you that there might be a sequel. There's no, like giant reveal or anything, but they kind of hint like there might be a sequel. We don't know, but there might be. God, I hope not, because the first one was pointless, and this one's even more pointless, so the third one would be even more pointless. So yeah, this is just a very pointless movie. Like, will some people like it? Yeah, sure. If you liked Snow White and the Huntsman, you will probably really like this movie. I didn't like Snow White and the Huntsman, so I didn't like this movie. I didn't think it was god-awful. Like, there are way worse movies. Like, there are actually good things in this movie, and there are some things that occasionally got an interest out of me, but all in all, it wasn't very interesting or even very entertaining, and I wasn't really invested with this movie. I really didn't give a shit about any of the characters or story or anything about this movie. I didn't give a shit, so yeah, I personally can't recommend this movie, but if you liked Snow White and the Huntsman, go see it, you'll like it just fine, but if you didn't like Snow White and the Huntsman, you're not gonna like this movie. So yeah, scale 1 to 10, I'll give the movie The Huntsman Winter's War a 4 out of 10. So yeah, skip it. Not a good movie. Not a good movie. So yeah, that was my review for the movie Huntsman Winter's War. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me what one was worse in your opinion. Was this one worse or Snow White and the Huntsman? But if you like these movies, which one was better? Snow White and the Huntsman or The Huntsman Winter's War? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.